Are they going to IPO soon? Before Ripple's IPO, some banks are putting out new reviews of the company. This is worth $11.3 billion. We will also look at some new information from an event that happened not long ago. David Schwartz talked about how the XRP system will soon have some new uses. We'll also look at this Jake Claver video where he talks about a $2,500 XRP. There are new links between Ripple and Tenity. This could mean a lot of things. It also talks about Roger Ver's role in the early days of Ripple and how he could have helped. Everything we're going to talk about today will be in the video. Guys, please hit like if you find this useful. So, I just wanted to make sure the statement was true. Is this really true? It's true what they said. According to Crypto Digest, DBS, the biggest bank in Southwest Asia, has put a value on Ripple at $11.3 billion before its possible IPO in 2026. The main office of DBS Bank is in Singapore, and it is known as Southeast Asia's biggest bank. Put out a value for Ripple of $11.3 billion. I mean, DBS has used Ripple for a long time, so this doesn't surprise me. I believe that you will get more ratings in the next 6 to 12 months, and I believe that they will be higher. The price of Ripple will go through the roof as they become more valuable. The value comes as Ripple gets ready for its IPO, which CEO Brad Garlinghouse has said he hopes will happen in 2026. Many see this as an indication that the bank has faith in Ripple's technology and business plan. This is especially true in the area of cross-border payments, where Ripple is seen as a competitor to SWIFT systems. People think that DBS's support is important because of its well-known status and power in Asian finance. They also think that it shows that traditional banks are becoming more open to blockchain solutions. I love hearing that. This is the video I was talking about. Pay close attention. It's only 25 seconds long. In what ways do you think we'll start seeing builds? The DEX released assets, escrows, and upcoming loans are just some of the financial use cases that the XRP ledger was designed to handle. I think we'll be able to handle the most important financial use cases with native players that provide the features people want. For example, loans will be possible this way. Don't forget that Ripple is turning into a bank. If they want to, they could take on regular people like you and me once they are a bank. This means that Ripple will be able to do new things like lend money. You could get a loan in US dollars with your XRP and some kind of Ripple lockup at their bank. That would be really cool. It's possible that Ripple will become a lender of last choice. Remember that becoming a lender of last option was always one of their goals, or something they talked about a lot from 2015 to 2020. I was curious about the main ways that XRP is used in finance to see if anything has changed. A few times a month, I like to ask this question to see if there's anything else I'm forgetting. Bridge currency for sending money across borders. And that has been talked about a lot on this station. On-demand funding is something I don't need to spend too much time on. If Ripple does become a bank that banks trust, then once you're working with another bank, you can't really move up in the hierarchy since these other banks have to go through all of these steps and hoops to check the funds and other things. Banks will trust each other. It would really prove that Ripple is a trustworthy partner in this new world of blockchain technology that is always changing. Settlements between institutions and treasury choices. Banks and other financial institutions use XRP to settle large transactions fast and easily. Transactions can be settled in 3 to 5 seconds, and there aren't many fees. It talks about tokenization and small fees. XRP is good for micro payments because it has low fees and can be expanded. In this case, let's say you wanted to read just one article and were asked to sign up for a newspaper or online ad service for a month, 3 months, or 6 months. What if you could just pay 20 cents, 25 cents, or 50 cents to read that one article? You can't really do that with normal methods since it costs a lot to make that kind of payment. A huge use case for companies selling a small fraction of what they usually would be could be using XRP to make these kinds of small payments possible. And if you get enough of that, it might make up for the money you are missing in important areas. a possible part in CBDC and state reserves. We are still looking into how XRP could be used in digital currencies backed by central banks as a strategic reserve asset. This could free up trillions of dollars for use by governments or businesses. We talk about getting rid of our Nostro accounts. That is a huge one. So, here are some things we've already talked about. Let's go back to the Jay Claver clip and look at what would need to happen for 2,500 XRP. I don't want to say it again. Let's talk about XRP since I bought some stuff. What will happen if it gets to $2,500? What needs to happen in order for that to happen are a lot of things. A lot of people will just say, oh, there's, and then they'll leave you alone. Large-scale events in the world economy need to happen in order for that supply shock to happen and push it to that value. That's the only way it could be. Economics is all about supply and demand. When people look at the overall market cap, they miss the point. What really matters is how much is available to buy, which affects the market's liquidity, dynamics, and value. But you can't make more XRP, right? They can't. 100 billion XNS were made on June 2nd, 2012, and that's what they were called at first. And they black out that account. That means that no one can get to it. They can't get back in, they can't make any more mints, no one can freeze. The amount of XRP that can't be changed is 100 billion, and every day 5,000 are burned. It's the only object on the planet that lowers the value of money other than uranium. That makes it worth more. Okay, that's it. If so, what will happen? I think I made a movie about this last week or the week before that. In it, I looked at numbers from 2024 to 2025. It is true that XRP is being taken off of platforms like Binance, Coinbase, and many more. A huge number of people are eagerly seeking XRP right now. I also think that people don't realize how much low liquidity hurts markets. What does that mean for the XRP price? To speed up the use of XRP in Asia, Ripple has teamed up with Kennedy in a new relationship that I just learned about. So I asked you to look around and see what was going on. Kennedy, a global fintech incubator, teamed up with Ripple to start the XRPL Accelerator program in Singapore. The goal is to encourage new ideas and wider use of the XRP platform in the Asia-Pacific region, with a focus on the Asia-Pacific area. This project is meant to help early-stage startups and corporate innovation teams build on the XRP Ledger's technology. The grant money comes from 200,000 non-equity funds. There will be a 12-week training program that focuses on tokenizing real-world assets, institutional decentralized finance, and how AI and blockchain can work together. That's really cool. So they can be a part of all of this. They need mentorship and networking. This grant might be something you want to look into if you are building in these areas. Singapore was picked as a strategic location because it has a strong fintech ecosystem, clear regulations, and is one of the most important blockchain hubs in Asia. A big investment that will host more than 300 crypto and blockchain businesses by 2025. This is pretty cool, though. Here are the requirements. If you're interested, please read the story at kennedy.com. Okay, now we have some new facts. In the beginning, Roger Ver talked about the XRP system with Jeb and Caleb. Look it over. Another interesting fact is that I was the second person to work with Ripple XRP, or whatever you want to call it. As most people know, Jeb and Caleb came up with the idea in the first place. He told Roger, "Hey, I think Bitcoin mining is a waste of time. It claims to use a lot of energy, but it doesn't. We can do the same thing with less electricity. I know that he said he could make a Bitcoin version that doesn't need to be mined." David Schwartz, who was then CTO, asked if I would pay for he said, "Hey, can you pay this guy's salary to help build it? I'll lead it and we'll work on it together." I said, "Okay, let's do it." I believe that was in 2012. This means that I was the second person to ever work on Ripple. That's really amazing. Wow. Okay, Also, if you don't know who Roger Ver is, he is a well-known and controversial person in the world of cryptocurrencies. He is also known as Bitcoin Jesus because of how strongly he pushed for the Bitcoin burn in San Jose, California in 1979. He's from the Bay Area. Okay, after that, here are all the companies that he works for. Some of them are pretty big in the US. We'll also have more information this week about the Clarity Act and the Genius Act. I'll quickly show you this clip. Your crypto week is coming up while you are making crypto policy for the United States of America. Tell us about it. At the moment, digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and everything else that has to do with using blockchain for financial transactions are not controlled. It is not clear to consumers, investors, and business owners how to use it or how to stay out of trouble with the law. That's why, in 2 weeks, the Clarity Act will be brought to the House floor. This law sets the rules for how to invest in digital assets, sell them, be a broker, and set up the market for digital assets. We will also bring dollar-back payment stablecoins to the House floor. We believe that these 2 things will strengthen America's power around the world and improve financial services by giving the US dollar more power as we move from traditional finance to blockchain-based finance. French Hill is the chairman. Do you think this is interesting? The Genius Act is already in the House. They're likely to work on that and the Clarity Act at the same time. The Clarity Act could be new rules for crypto in the US. So stay tuned. The next week is going to be very interesting. I'll tell you everything new and important. You only need to make sure you're following and turn on the bell. I'll see you all soon. Thanks for being here. This is Crypto Sensei. Thank you for your time. If you want to learn about money, don't watch this video. This is only meant to be entertaining. That's not what I do for a living. Please get help with your money if you need it. Come back to the movie.